Namaste Adab, Sasrikal. So now we are going to start off with last spring and the first part of it. Sometimes I find a rupee in the garbage. Why do you do this? I ask Sahib. Whom I encounter? Encounter here refers to whom I meet every morning, scrounging, that is looking for, searching for something, scrounging for gold, and it specifically mentioned scrounging for gold here, referring to something of value, something, so searching something that is valuable in the garbage dumps of my neighborhood. Sahib left his home long ago, set amidst the green fields of Dhaka. His home is not even a distant memory. There were many storms that swept away their fields and homes, his mother tells him. So this is the natural disaster because of which they were forced to move, right? So this is the natural disaster that we are talking about the storms, that because of the storms they had to leave their place where they resided. um that's why they left, looking for gold in the big city where he now lives. I've nothing else to do, he mutters, that is, he speaks. Looking away. Go to school, I say glibly, realizing immediately how hollow the advice must sound. Now, she realizes, the moment she makes this advice, she realizes that it's a hollow advice. Why? Because there is no school in the neighborhood. In There is no school in my neighborhood. When they build one, I will go. So this was the reply given by Sahib. If I start a school, will you come? I ask, half joking. Yes, he says, smiling broadly. A few days later, I see him running up to me. Is your school ready? It takes longer to build a school, I say, embarrassed, because she knew that the promise that she made was just a promise made in vain. It had no meaning attached to it. It was just in a half joking manner, it was just stated like that. So she did not realize at that particular point of time that she was actually not only making a promise but a promise of building a tabernacle at a school. So that was done in a joking manner. A few days later, I see him. It takes longer to build a school, I say, embarrassed at having made a promise that was not meant to be. But promises like mine abound in every corner of his bleak world. But promises like what I promised him are so common, are perhaps they exist in each and every corner of his world, right? It takes long. After months of knowing him, I ask him his name. Sahib Alam, he announces. He does not know what it means. If he knew its meaning, Lord of the Universe, which is obviously ironical because he's not the master of his own fate. He's not the master of his destiny. He's not at all. He's not having any control over his life. He's not the Lord of the Universe. In fact, it's ironical that his name means this because he's actually the slave. He would have a hard time believing in it. Unaware of what his name represents, he roams the streets with his friends, an army of barefoot boys who appear like the morning birds and disappear at noon. Now, morning birds, it's referred to as morning birds because they have to get up early in the morning. Over the months, I have come to recognize each of them. Why aren't you wearing chappals? I ask one. My mother did not bring them down from the shelf, he answers simply. Even if she did, he will throw them off, adds another who is wearing shoes that do not match. When I comment who is wearing shoes that do not, when I comment on it, he shuffles his feet and says nothing. I want shoes, says the third boy who has never owned a pair all his life. Traveling across the country, I've seen children walking barefoot in cities on village roads. It is not lack of money but a tradition to stay barefoot is one explanation. So one of the explanation that they come up with is that it's their tradition, it's the custom to stay barefoot. So that's all for now. This is Joshi signing off. We'll see you in the next session.